Did you know one tiny spoon on your bag could keep the TSA holding you for hours? I learned the hard way. My bag got pulled for a ridiculous mistake. Trust me, you don't want to be the person standing red-faced while everyone watches. Today, I'm breaking down the 10 packing mistakes that drive TSA insane. Fix these, and you'll sail through checkpoints while others are still fumbling with oversized water bottles and spaghetti-tangled cables. And pay close attention. Habit number 2 is the one that trips up thousands of travelers in trouble every single day. I once had my carry-on flagged because of a tiny metal scoop my sister used for protein powder. It was buried in a zip bag at the bottom, but on the scanner it looked like a blade. One harmless utensil, and suddenly the TSA was ripping through my bag like it was a full-on investigation. That's what happens when you overpack. Everything compresses into one dense shape the machine can't read. To officers, your bag isn't organized. It's a black box full of unknowns. The fix? Let your bag breathe. Pack in layers and keep small metal items in separate cases so the scanner can read them clearly. But if you think overpacking is bad, wait until you see mistake number 2. It's the one that shocks millions of travelers every single year. Think the liquid rule is old news? TSA confiscates millions of items every year because travelers still mess it up. The catch is simple. It doesn't matter if your bottle is half empty. Officers go by the size printed on the label. A 120 milliliter face serum with just a few drops left? Still too big. What throws people off is how many everyday items count as liquids. Peanut butter, hummus, soft cheese, even snow globes. They all fall under the 3-1-1 rule. That's why travelers who swear they've got it down still end up watching their favorite items land in the pile of abandoned goods next to security. Instead of learning the hard way, make this your routine. Keep every liquid, gel, or paste in a clear quart-sized pouch on top of your bag and double-check the ounces before you pack. And here's the twist. Even if you nail the liquid rule, your souvenirs could still get you in big trouble. That bottle of cognac from duty-free looks like the perfect gift until it isn't. One traveler lost $200 at Chicago O'Hare Airport checking 5 cognac bottles without the official duty-free bag. One even shattered, soaking their suitcase in brandy. That's not the welcome home you want. And coffee? Even that's risky. A traveler carried vacuum-packed blocks that looked totally normal. On the scanner, though, they resembled explosives, and it ended up costing him hours at security. With TSA, coffee, liquor, or any souvenir can turn into trouble. Don't let a few gifts cost you hundreds of dollars or spark a full-on security check. The safer bet? Ask for the official duty-free bag. Know the customs rules before you buy. And when in doubt, pack souvenirs in checked luggage. And if gifts can cause this much trouble, wait until you see how your outfit, or even your hairstyle, can land you in the hot seat. Think your bag is the only thing under scrutiny? Not even close. TSA scanners can be just as suspicious of what you're wearing. Years ago, the sock bun trend got many travelers pulled aside because their perfectly round bun showed up as a solid object on the full body scanner. The officer had to pat it down to prove it was foam, not something hidden inside. Talk about awkwardness. It's not just hair. Belts with chunky buckles, boots with metal shanks, sequin tops, wired bras, they all show up as anomalies. To the machine, anything dense or metallic could be a red flag, and suddenly you're the one triggering a pat-down while officers investigate. Here's the trick. Dress like you're heading to a casual checkup, not a fashion show. Go with slip-on shoes, minimal jewelry, and simple layers that the scanner can read cleanly. The less your outfit confuses the machine, the faster you're back on your way. Have you ever been caught in an awkward moment at security like this? Drop your story in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Picture this. You're in the TSA line, trays moving fast, people stacking bins, and then it's your turn. The officer asks you to pull out your laptop, and suddenly you're digging under hoodies, snacks, and chargers like you're on a treasure hunt. Everyone behind you is groaning, and your stress level shoots through the roof. Here's why the TSA hates it. Laptops, tablets, and power banks look like dense black boxes on the scanner. If they're buried under layers of clothes or food, the machine can't read what's inside. That almost guarantees your bag gets pulled. And instead of cruising to your gate, you're stuck watching an officer unpack your life piece by piece. So, what's the trick? Keep electronics in their own spot, right at the top or in a dedicated laptop sleeve. Even better, use a checkpoint-friendly bag that zips open flat so you don't have to remove the device at all. And for smaller items, chargers, headphones, e-readers, stash them in a clear pouch you can lift out in one move. Next time you pack, try placing your laptop right on top, and let me know in the comments how much time it saves you. Have you ever shown up at the airport with a super cute tote bag, only to watch it turn into a chaotic black hole at the TSA checkpoint? That's the problem with picking the wrong bag. A stylish but cavernous tote or a flimsy shopping bag from duty-free forces you to unpack in plain sight. TSA officers don't have time for mystery bags. They want quick access, clear layers, and no surprises. My friend dumped out his entire tote just to find a tiny water bottle. Yep, it was a mess, and TSA Block wasn't amused. So what kind of bag actually works? Think structure. A backpack with a laptop sleeve, front pockets for liquids and cables, and enough compartments to separate dense items. When you slide it onto the belt, the scanner sees order, not clutter. And when officers do need to check, they can reach things without tearing your bag apart. Share your favorite bag or packing tip in the comments below. And hold up, because even if your bag is perfect, a tangled mess of cables can still turn it into a nightmare. Check out mistake number 7 so you don't get caught. You know that sinking feeling when you pull out your charger and 5 other cables come with it, knotted together like a plate of spaghetti? Now imagine what that looks like on a TSA scanner. To the machine, it's a dense, tangled mess that could be hiding almost anything. I once heard an officer describe it like this: every cable casts a shadow, and when they overlap, it blocks the view. In other words, your earbuds, phone charger, laptop cord, and backup battery wires might look innocent to you, but on the screen, they create a shadowy blob that screams, "Check me." Coil each cord separately with a cheap Velcro tie. Dollar store has them for pennies. Then stash them in a clear Ziploc bag so the TSA can see everything at a glance and know exactly what they're looking at. And bonus, you'll thank yourself later when you're not untangling cables at your hotel. Be honest, how many random cords are rattling around in your bag right now? Drop your cord count and your best organizing hack in the comments. Let's save each other some headaches. And guess what? An innocent snack or homemade treat can look like a bomb on the scanner and trigger a full inspection. Bringing snacks feels like a smart move. It saves money, tastes better than airport food, and keeps you comfortable. But not every snack looks harmless to the TSA. A traveler once told me he carried vacuum-sealed banana bread for his son. On the scanner, it showed up as one suspicious brick. TSA called in a sniffer dog. Imagine the looks he got while everyone else was waiting. And don't get me started on spreads. Peanut butter, hummus, even salad dressing can get you flagged as a liquid offender, leaving you unpacking snacks in front of strangers. And here's another layer of trouble. Some passengers have severe nut allergies like peanuts or almonds, and because airplane air is fully recycled, even being near those snacks can trigger dangerous reactions. The smartest move is simple. Separate liquids and soft foods into small containers and keep them at the top of your bag. If you're carrying homemade treats, wrap them clearly so agents can recognize what they are at a glance. And here's a little hack. Use mini Tupperware containers for spreads like hummus. They're compact, easy to declare, and way less likely to get tossed. Quick question. Have you ever had a snack or drink taken away at security? Share it in the comments. I want to hear the weirdest one. Next up, the headache isn't about food at all. It's about wrapping. Gifts that look perfect under the tree might get ripped open right at the checkpoint. You've spent hours wrapping the perfect holiday present. Shiny paper, neat folds, ribbon tied just right. Now imagine handing it to TSA and watching them slice it open in 10 seconds flat. That's what happens when scanners can't see through wrapping. If they can't identify what's inside, they have no choice but to rip it apart. I've seen families watch their Christmas gifts get unwrapped at security while their kids stood there heartbroken. It's not personal, it's just protocol. Metallic wrapping paper, layered tissue, and oversized bows make it even worse. So how do you keep the holiday spirit alive? Pack gifts unwrapped, use gift bags with tissue paper, or better yet, ship them ahead of time. You'll save yourself time, stress, and maybe a few tears. Would you be okay watching your carefully wrapped present get opened in front of a line of strangers? Personally, I'd rather avoid the drama. And speaking of drama, don't miss mistake number 10, because it can cost you cash right at the gate. It's easy to think, if it fits in the overhead bin, I'm good. But airlines don't see it that way. A carry-on that's over the weight limit, or showing up at security with 3 different bags hanging off you, can turn into an expensive surprise. Many travelers were forced to check their bag at the gate, slapped with a $99 fee, just because it tipped the scale by a couple of pounds. And worse, some try to shuffle items between bags at the last second, holding up the entire boarding line while the gate agent stares them down. Not fun. The smart move is to check your airline's exact carry-on policy before you pack. Some carriers are strict on weight, others on dimensions, and budget airlines like Spirit, Frontier will measure every inch. If you travel light, you'll breeze through. If you push the limits, you're rolling the dice with your wallet. If you have ever been caught paying an overweight fee at the airport, you know how painful it feels. And that's all 10 packing mistakes that can turn TSA into your worst nightmare. Most of them are easy to fix, but only if you know ahead of time. Travel is stressful enough without surprise bag checks, so a little prep can save you time, money, and a whole lot of embarrassment. I'm dying to know. What's the strangest thing that's ever gotten your bag pulled at security? Drop your story in the comments. I'll feature some of the best ones in a future video. Smash that like button if you're ready to outsmart TSA, and subscribe for more travel hacks to make every flight a breeze. Safe travels, and I'll see you on the next flight.